Channel 2 Action News has uncovered some of the same evidence prosecutors have gathered in their investigation into DeKalb County's CEO. It's clear prosecutors wanted to see how much of the CEO's campaign money was coming in from people who do business with the county. Channel 2 investigative reporter Jody Fleischer spent weeks researching the data. She's here now with the concerns about influence on the bidding process. Jody.
John, our team of investigators has spoken with at least 10 witnesses who've testified before the grand jury. One vendor from out of state told me he felt extorted when Burrell Ellis personally called him to ask for a $25,000 campaign contribution. He says Ellis did not threaten him, but he felt so uncomfortable he canceled his own $5 million contract that he'd fought so hard to win.
I want to say emphatically that I have done nothing wrong.
Unsure of exactly what investigators were looking for when they searched his home and office, DeKalb CEO Burrell Ellis has proclaimed his innocence. He says a special grand jury looking into alleged corruption asked him about how contracts are bid and awarded in the county. But additional search warrants at the elections office and the purchasing department indicate prosecutors are also interested in Ellis's campaign contributions and vendor lists he requested.
As the CEO of the county, I talked to a number of vendors who do business with the county, but no inappropriate contact with any vendors.
But he does acknowledge asking them for campaign contributions. We filed open records requests and examined all of the money Ellis received in the last 5 years. Nearly $600,000, or 40%, came from companies that have or wanted business with DeKalb County. The overwhelming majority were contract winners, outnumbering losing bidders by 5 to 1.
I think what's essential here is, never have I been in any done anything that would give anybody a promise in return for a campaign contribution. We're always clear about that.
If truly that money doesn't influence you, then turn it down.
Common Cause Georgia says Ellis has, at the very least, a perception problem. For example, this Sewanee company contributed more than $18,000 since May 2011 and won nearly $6 million in contracts.
When a large amount of money is given, you can't help but favor somebody. You can't help but think that they are better than their competition because they've essentially bought a friendship with you.
That company did lose some bids as well, and not every contract winner was a donor. But our research shows Ellis got more than $118,000 from companies that won or bid on contracts from out of state.
We have people who contribute to our campaign, some of whom do business with DeKalb County, some of who, don't even live in DeKalb County. People are free to support candidates that they believe in.
There's nothing wrong with somebody from out of state wanting a government contract. But then when they're asked to give to a local campaign, the only reason they're being asked is because they have that contract. This is what we call pay to play.
Now, we should point out it is perfectly legal to accept contributions from vendors and bidders. What investigators will want to know is, was there any kind of threat if vendors didn't give? And what kind of influence Ellis might have exerted on the selection process? Now, I spoke with one woman who says her contract was canceled after she refused to support Ellis, but another vendor told me he's never been approached for money and he's won several million-dollar contracts.
So, Jody, looking into all of this, you've been able to connect 40% of the money to various vendors. What about the other 60%?
Well, we did find some connections there, too, that we did not include. We found about 100 donations from folks who got appointed to various boards or needed a favorable zoning decision. And plenty of names are untraceable. They could be a spouse or relative of a vendor. About 150 people listed no employer at all.
Okay. Thank you, Jody.
Thanks. You can read much more about this story in tomorrow's edition of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution newspaper, including a breakdown of the money Ellis took from vendors and bidders and when. You'll also find more details about the companies that won contracts from DeKalb County. That's in tomorrow's edition of the AJC.